Now at 9, we have been dealing with the snow, the sleet, the freezing rain over the past couple days. What is next? We're going to look at that.
Inspired by his time as a first responder, a Joplin man is helping out area essential workers and giving them free rides during the snowstorm. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with those details.
President Biden announcing his plans to tackle the rising rate of crime across the country. I'm Mallory Rivera in Washington, and I'll have the details on his plans coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abby. More snow showers tonight. We turn to Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy now. Doug?
Yeah, we've had the on and off snow showers throughout the evening hours. They have not amounted to much, but some areas have picked up a dusting to 1/4 of an inch or so. But all the heavy snow is out of here, of course, over the past couple days. On the Missouri side, Arkansas, back through Oklahoma, we've seen 7 upwards to 9 inches of snow. In the dark blue, 5 to 7, and then our northwestern counties have seen the least amount of snow, anywhere in that 3, 4, 5 inch range. But all the heavy snow we had during the overnight hours, and then it kind of tapered off during the morning hours, and then just kind of flurries most of the morning. And then we've had these light snow showers, which have been working back in as we've gone through the past several hours or so. These are fairly light. They really aren't going to amount to too much, but they're going to be kind of on and off as we head through the next few hours, and then most of these will work on out of here. But you can see them really Mount Vernon, Monette, Cassville, and then just kind of scattered back across southeastern parts of Kansas. It's also very cold out there. It's also windy. When are we going to warm up? We're going to look at all that here in just a bit.
Doug, thank you. So just how bad are the roads? Bad enough that a snowplow driver tasked with cleaning those roads crashed in Carthage earlier today. The driver, a 70-year-old from Webb City, had minor injuries. His truck ran off the side of Goldenrod Road, flipped, and hit a fence. Baxter Springs ambulance got stuck responding to a call today. No one was hurt, and a second ambulance crew responded to the initial call. The Cherokee County EMS posted photos on Facebook and thanked everyone who checked on the crew and helped. EMS says if these very heavy vehicles can become incapacitated, then lighter vehicles, of course, with lower ground clearance just don't stand a chance. Snow and ice caused some 4-staters to lose power temporarily. Some 4-staters. Officials with the Carthage Water and Electric plant say they had around 10 customers lose power. They say best thing you can do in that situation is just be prepared.
Get your blankets out, maybe get a flashlight out so you can see the ground around your house, emergency kit in case you have it, candles so you could have another heat source or something to get around, and contact your local utility provider.
Officials also recommend having plenty of food and water just in case of an emergency. While many are able to work from home right now because of the inclement weather, first responders don't have that option. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with a former firefighter who's ensuring our first responders get to and from work safely.
Winter weather is back in the 4 states, and road conditions aren't great. While it's recommended to stay home and stay off the roads, some people, like first responders, don't have that option. So Kyle Kugler with Rocking 2K Cattle and Transport decided to step in.
I'm just providing a free service for anyone who absolutely has to be out on the roads and has to actually get to work and doesn't have a choice to get there and doesn't have the means and capability to do it.
Any first responders in need of a ride to work, such as EMS, firefighters, police officers, or hospital staff, are welcome to give Kugler a call.
I've had some people call about getting picked up from the hospital for their evening shifts and making sure they can get home if they feel like they can't get home at all. And I've had some people just call and just check in and say thank you so much for what you're doing and everything. And it's been a real blessing to try and be able to help out.
He says the main purpose in providing a service like this isn't about gaining attention, but rather to ensure the safety of those working to keep us safe.
Just to help. No real purpose other than just wanting to help and just be there for people who need to have the help.
Originally from the Appalachian Mountains, Kugler is no stranger to driving in the snow and says the snow we've received in the past few days doesn't faze him or his truck. He wants to make sure he can give that comfort to others needing to be on the road.
You know, it's what I do. It's kind of basically what I do for a living. I transport animals, all over the United States. It's what I do is drive. So I can, driving in adverse conditions is something I deal with on a daily.
Mainly, he says he just wants to give back to those who give so much already. In Joplin, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Any first responders in need of a ride can contact Kugler directly. We've got his contact information in an article on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. The Northeast is bracing for more snow and ice as a major winter storm moves across the U.S. Fox Weather's Mitty Hicks has more.
Millions of Americans remain in the path of a winter storm that's now taking aim at the Northeast. It's expected to drop heavy snow in parts of Ohio, New York, and southern New England through Friday. The National Weather Service says more than a foot of snow is possible in some places. The system blasted the Midwest and South with a mix of precipitation. Sleet and freezing rain fell over parts of Texas, Oklahoma, and Tennessee today, weighing down trees and power lines. The conditions left more than 100,000 homes and businesses without power.
We are dealing with one of the most significant icing events that we've had in the state of Texas. There are some consequences that result from this being such a significant icing event.
Further north, snow remained the biggest issue. The Colorado Springs area was buried under 20 inches of snow, while more than a foot fell in parts of Illinois and Indiana.
And then every few hours just come out again with a snowblower and shovel and just do a little bit more just so I don't have to do it all at once.
The system will exit off the northeast coast Friday, but even as the precipitation ends, cold temperatures will remain throughout the weekend. Kentucky officials say this could cause roads to stay icy after the storm leaves.
It's very difficult to get ahead of this because as long as it's wet, there's not much we can do.
The weather also created a mess for airlines today with more than 4,000 flights canceled. In Buffalo, Mitty Hicks, Fox Weather.
Police in Independence, Kansas, looking for suspects, they say, threw a homemade chemical bomb out of a vehicle. Happened on Monday, shortly after noon. Officers responded to the 1000 block of West Oak for a reported explosion. Witnesses say a vehicle with 2 people inside drove by, threw a bottle out, and the bottle was filled with household chemicals, exploded. No injuries were reported. Authorities say to stay away from any suspected bottle bombs. Call police immediately. A third suspect in a 2020 kidnapping and murder investigation gets prison time. Christina Knapp pled guilty to first-degree robbery, first-degree kidnapping in connection with the death of Sarah Pascoe. She's getting 15 years on the robbery charge, 10 years on the kidnapping charge. Those sentences are going to run consecutively. You can read more about the crime, including the sentences for 2 other suspects, in this story on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. As crime rates across the country continue to rise, President Biden travels to New York today to address his plans to combat the crisis. Fox's Madeline Rivera has these details.
President Biden traveling to New York Thursday, addressing a surge in gun violence and crime in the city and across the country.
Enough is enough. The answer is not to defund the police. It's to give you the tools, the training, the funding to be partners, to be protectors, and community needs you.
The U.S. murder rate is the highest it has been in 25 years, with at least 16 cities setting new homicide records in 2021. In New York, crime is up nearly 40% overall, and police there are mourning the loss of 2 of their own, gunned down while responding to a call.
The president is here because he knows what the American people want: justice, safety, and prosperity, and they deserve every bit of it.
The Biden administration announcing that the Department of Justice will be prioritizing the prosecution of gun violence. That includes a crackdown on illegal gun traffickers and sellers, as well as an initiative targeting so-called ghost guns, homemade firearms that lack serial numbers and are hard to trace.
The Justice Department will use every tool at our disposal to protect our communities.
Critics of the president's plan say it's not just guns that are the problem, pointing to Democratic lawmakers' policies and progressive district attorneys.
The soft on crime rhetoric and the soft on crime policies have intersected, and we are seeing that increased crime in our community.
As part of his plan, the president is calling on Congress to approve $500 million in funding to help reduce gun crime, as well as increased funding for the ATF. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor another 4-state hero. Ormonde Belts served in the U.S. Army from 1943 to 45. Native of Fort Scott, Kansas, Belts was stationed in Germany, also France. He earned a Silver Star and 3 Battle Stars. We are proud to thank and salute Staff Sergeant Ormonde Belts. He's tonight's 4-state hero. Doug Heddy's next with a complete look at the forecast a bit later. Fort Scott girls basketball team entering the top 10 in the state rankings after a hot start to their season. Gonna hear from the team in sports.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a nasty day outside for us today. The past couple days, we've had the wintry weather across the region. Still have snow showers out there right now. 6.25 inches is what officially fell for today. For the season, just shy of 12 inches. The average is 12 inches, and we'll get some more snow as we go through the rest of the winter months, or about a month, and then we'll fly into severe weather season. But the heaviest amounts on the Missouri-Arkansas side and then stretching along the I-44 corridor into northeastern parts of Oklahoma, and then 5 to 7 in Kansas, 3 to 5 in our far northwestern counties. But you can see the moderate to heavy snow that we had overnight into the morning hours, and then just flurries most of the day. And now we have been seeing some light little snow showers which have been working through over the past few hours, really kind of stretching from Springfield, Branson, back toward Monette, Pittsburgh, and Pennance. These are light. They're not amounting too much. We've seen a dusting to a ½ an inch out of some of these, but that's really all we are going to see as we go through the rest of the evening hours, where you see the darker blues a little bit heavier toward Parsons, and then heading over towards Stockton Lake, and then Mount Vernon south toward Monette. This is the back little wave right across central parts of Oklahoma. This is going to scoot just south of us, but it will keep the snow showers around for the next several hours, and then we'll get rid of this storm system. You can see all the heavy snow we had earlier is racing off toward the east away from us. All right, let's go through the overnight. Light snow showers continue. Temperatures cold. We're kind of holding steady into the mid-teens, and then eventually, once these clouds start to break up a little bit later on tonight, we'll drop back a little bit colder, right around 10 degrees, single digits if you live north of Interstate 44. So it is going to be a cold night. Any additional snow is going to be light, a dusting, maybe upwards of an inch. Once you get down into our southern counties, most of us will just get a dusting from that snow. All right, temps right now, we're sitting into the mid-teens. We still have that northeasterly wind at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. So you take the wind, and of course you get the wind chill, the way it actually feels to your skin. It feels 0 to about 5 degrees across the region. These wind chills will continue to drop a little bit below 0 later on tonight. All right, this system moving out, if we look out toward the west, not much going on. So we're going to stay pretty quiet as we go through the next few days, which is good, and then we'll slowly start to warm things up, especially as we head into the weekend. Here's 5 a.m. We still have the clouds on top of us, breaking up, clear skies by tomorrow afternoon, so at least we get the sunshine back, but still temperatures are going to struggle to warm up. 6 to start, 22 by noon, high temp 27, westerly winds, not as windy, at about 5 to 10. Let's go into tomorrow night. We're going to get some fog building in. This is due to the snowpack on the ground, the moisture on the ground, but temperatures down into the single digits. Fog burns off by Saturday, and we start to warm things back up as we jump into the 30s for afternoon highs. So at least we're going in the right direction. Sunday, not too bad. We're going to go right back up into the 30s, but eventually, early next week, we really start to warm things back up. We'll go all the way into Tuesday afternoon. We're into the mid-40s, 50s, right behind it. So that's good news. All right, cold tonight, snow showers. Roads are still pretty bad, so be careful if you are going to be out tonight and tomorrow. 27 tomorrow, 36 on Saturday, up to 40 by Sunday, which sounds pretty good right now.
With cold temperatures tonight, though, that slush is just going to refreeze.
Yeah,
right? And
just most of the roads they're pretty slick.
Yeah. All right, we'll see you in a little bit. Thanks so much, Doug.
Yep.
Coming up, an attack on ISIS.
The leader of ISIS killed in a U.S.-led military operation. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington. What we're learning from top officials about the deadly raid.
Action out of D.C. after the targeted killing of the top ISIS leader in Syria. U.S. Special Forces conducted a counterterrorism mission late Wednesday, engaging in a fierce gun battle that ultimately led to the terrorist leader exploding a bomb, killing himself and members of his family. President Biden praised the bravery of those who carried out the operation. Fox's Lauren Blanchard has more details now from D.C.
President Biden said the mission once again shows U.S. military strength and how it can take out terrorist threats anywhere around the world.
And thanks to the bravery of our troops, this horrible terrorist leader is no more.
President Biden ordered the overnight mission against ISIS leader Abu Ibrahim al-Hashimi al-Qurashi. He and the vice president watched from the Situation Room as U.S. Special Forces raided this home in northern Syria. A tense, hours-long gun battle ensued before the terrorist leader detonated a large amount of explosives, killing himself and members of his family, including women and children. No U.S. forces were killed.
This operation is testament to America's reach and capability to take out terrorist threats no matter where they try to hide anywhere in the world.
Senior administration officials tell Fox News the raid was long planned. President Biden was briefed back in December and gave his approval on Tuesday. It's being described as the biggest operation since the October 2019 killing of al-Qurashi's predecessor, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi.
This is a man that we should all be happy is no longer walking on the face of the earth.
The mission drawing bipartisan praise on Capitol Hill.
I want to thank the incredible work of our brave military service members who work day and night to keep Americans safe.
We've removed an ISIS commander, and that's very good news.
In the aftermath of the raid, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said the fight against ISIS continues and the group is still a viable threat, but weakened. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Still ahead, letting technology do all the work.
It could be a major breakthrough in self-driving cars, a new sensor that not only detects speed but distance. I'm Eben Brown in Miami. I'll have that story straight ahead.
A new type of sensor just unveiled by a California-based company promises camera-level resolution in 4D, possibly opening the door for self-driving trucks. Fox's Eben Brown has more from Miami.
It's no secret America has a supply chain issue, and it's being exacerbated by a major shortage of truck drivers. But an emerging piece of technology called 4D LiDAR could help solve the problem.
You're familiar with 3D sensors. They measure depth, but also the fourth dimension is what measures velocity. And we think this is critical.
Ava is a California-based company specializing in technology for autonomous vehicles, also known as self-driving cars. They've created what they say is the world's first 4D sensing technology with camera-level resolution for use in cars and trucks. It's called the Ares 2, and it's similar to other sensors, but it uses a unique frequency wave to measure velocity instantly, in addition to range and position, allowing self-driving vehicles to more accurately sense where other cars are, exactly how quick they're moving, and to avoid dangerous accidents.
When you're tired and you're driving on the 12th hour, you want to have these kinds of systems to help you stay in the lane or prevent a potential situation of an accident.
The company's founders are former Apple engineers, and they say the Ares 2 can do more than make the road safer. They're hoping it will speed up the trucking industry's move into an autonomous future, which could become a permanent fix for the shortage of drivers.
And major automakers like Tesla and Mercedes-Benz are making big investments in LiDAR technology as self-driving cars become more popular. In Miami, Eben Brown, Fox News.
All right, gonna learn which states like which Valentine's candy after this break. What sweets do our hearts hanker for on Valentine's Day? One website tells us. CandyStore.com says it's a heart-pounding race between two Valentine's Day treats. Conversation hearts, and heart-shaped boxes of chocolates. Conversation hearts seem to be back on top again in terms of sales. But chocolates state their case by state. 16 states like chocolate heart boxes, 12 like conversation hearts. Some other state favorites, M&M's and Hershey's. And Nebraska and West Virginia like Cupid corn. It's kind of like that candy corn in the fall, but Cupid corn, it's red and pink. Those conversation hearts, though, those are disgusting. You know, the chalky taste it leaves in your mouth. All right, I just had to say that. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming away. Going to hear from some area students using their first day off from school to have fun in the snow.
The 2022 Winter Olympics is finally here, but not without COVID-19 concerns. I'm Christina Coleman in Los Angeles. More details ahead.
Some four-staters took advantage of the snow and their days off from school to have a little fun, kick back. We found some college students and younger kids sledding at area parks today. Man, it looks so fun, doesn't it? This is over at the Praying Hands in Webb City. The sledders there weren't letting the cold stop them.
Wets, 2 pairs of socks, t-shirt, a hoodie, coveralls, 2 a coat, gloves, and a sock hat and a bandana.
You did good, little man. You did good. For the latest on school and business closings, head over to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, the latest readings on the job market are encouraging. There were 238,000 new claims for unemployment benefits last week, down 23,000 from the week before. Continuing claims, those still receiving benefits, declines to 1.62 million, in line with predictions. Most economists are expecting employment to rebound this month. And though businesses have been dealing with labor shortages, they were able to get more done at the end of last year. Worker productivity, how much is accomplished by employees, rose 6.6% in the fourth quarter, more than twice the forecast. Popular celebration beverage for special occasions like the upcoming Valentine's Day, it's going to cost you more. A wine and spirits analyst says costs are going up to make sparkling wine, and that means buyers will pay more at the registers, of course. 11% more was sold in 2021 than 2020, contributing to less supply. Sparkling wine producers are also being hit hard by supply chain issues for packaging and glass, and recent extreme weather and California fires are producing lower grape yields. The opening ceremony for the 2022 Winter Olympics quickly approaches. The International Olympic Committee and Chinese health officials promise to keep the games safe for fans amid the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. Fox News correspondent Christina Coleman has more from Los Angeles.
Together, we are writing a new chapter in sporting history.
The opening ceremony for the 2022 Winter Olympics kicks off this Friday. Beijing is set to become the first city to host both a summer and winter games. Olympic officials calling the moment historic while describing the upcoming games as one for the ages. Meanwhile, China's strict zero-COVID strategy will be put to the test. On Wednesday, a total of 55 new virus infections were found among Olympic Games-related personnel. Medical officials remain confident the risk of COVID-19 infection during the Games is low due to the closed-loop system in place.
If we find that there was evidence that there was sustained community transmission, then we would activate sort of the equivalent of our response plan, which means more testing, tracing, isolating.
International Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach also confirming he will meet with tennis star Peng Shuai in the coming days. Shuai had been at the center of international concern after she accused a former Chinese vice premier of sexually assaulting her on social media. The Chinese tennis star clarified her claims soon after, saying her post was misunderstood. Bach says the meeting is in an effort to assess her well-being and state of mind.
We will know better also about her physical integrity and about her mental state when we can finally meet in person.
The IOC says they will fully support Shuai if she wants her allegations to be investigated by the Olympic Committee. In Los Angeles, Christina Coleman, Fox News.
A bit later, a plea from health officials.
The national blood shortage is posing serious problems for hospitals across the country. I'm Kevin Cork with a look at what's contributing to the crisis. That's coming right up.
Well, of course, a cold, raw, nasty night outside for us after we've had bands of snow, sleet, freezing rain over the past couple days. We still have light snow showers out there right now, which it's not amounting to much, but we're getting a dusting to 1/4 of an inch in spots with some of these additional snow showers that we're going to get over the next few hours. Officially today, in Joplin, 6.25 inches. You add the inch of sleet yesterday, this storm system has produced a little bit over 7 inches. For the season, just shy of 12, average is 12, forecast was 13. Last year, we had 19.5 inches of snow. So the heaviest has been on the Missouri side, all of Missouri, Arkansas, most of northeastern Oklahoma, over 7 inches. A lot of areas once you get near Springfield picked up 10 to 12 inches. And then 5 to 7 on the Kansas side. Lighter amounts once you get into our northwestern counties, 3, 4, 5 inches out toward Wilson, Woodson County. All right, you can see the bands of snow that we had earlier today. We get the break through the morning hours. We just had some light little flurries most of the day, and then we've had light snow showers working back in over the past few hours. These are just kind of working through. The atmosphere is really dry at the surface, so these lighter blues, the lighter snow showers really aren't reaching the ground. You have where you see the darker blues, that's where we're getting these snow showers just kind of blowing around. And we are getting some minor accumulations, but you can see them from Mount Vernon, Greenfield, and then through Joplin right now, another little band in western parts of Cherokee County, Crawford County, up toward Pittsburgh and Lamar. Some snow showers near Parsons, back toward Independence, a little bit heavier once you get out to the west of Washington County near Bartlesville. But this little wave is going to kind of rotate to our south, so we're going to have these on and off light snow showers for about the next 3 or 4 hours, and then this storm system will finally get out of here. You can see our heavier snow from last night into the morning hours now racing across the Great Lakes and then into the New England states. Let's go through tonight. We'll stop at 1 a.m. Still these light snow showers, the heaviest concentration of them along and south of Interstate 44, and that's going to be the area that has the best shot to get any accumulation from these light little snow showers, and then they're gone. Here's 4 o'clock in the morning, so we only have to worry about these for a few more hours. If we had any accumulations, we're looking at a dusting to 1/4 of an inch, maybe upwards to an inch in our far southern counties, but most of us, it's not going to do too much, but the roads are still really bad out there. So stay inside. It's cold. We're sitting into the mid-teens. We got this northeasterly wind kicking in at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. So if you take the winds and the cold temperatures, you get the wonderful wind chill. The way it actually feels, 0 to about 5 degrees for most of us, and these will drop below 0 as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. All right, so we're going to get rid of this system. Let's go out west. Not a whole bunch going on. This is our weather as we go through the next few days, so at least we get much calmer conditions as we work into the weekend. By morning, we're still going to have the clouds. They'll break up. We get sunny skies returning tomorrow, which is going to help us out. Still cold as we only go into the 20s during the afternoon. We start at 6, 22 by noon, high temp right around 27. Tomorrow night, we're going to get some fog building in. That snow, that moisture on the ground, it will produce some pretty thick fog as we head into Saturday morning. Then it burns off, and then we warm up quite a bit more. As we go into the 30s, we're going to do some serious melting by the time we head into the weekend. Cold snow showers tonight, 27 on Friday, 36 on Saturday, 40 by Sunday, all the way up near 60 by next Thursday. So a pretty big swing.
And that's something.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, those winds were incredible last night, though.
Yeah, they were really strong.
Yeah. All right, Doug, thanks so much, as always. Coming up in sports, going to hear from the Fort Scott girls basketball team on climbing into the top 10 in the state rankings, plus Pitt State All-American linebacker deciding to return to the team for one final season. Jacob Leonard has details next.
Come on.
The Fort Scott High School girls basketball team has struggled the last few years, finishing under 500 for 3 straight seasons. But this winter, they've turned things around, winning 10 of their first 13, and they found themselves in the top 10 in the state rankings. Danny Terzer has more.
At this time last year, Fort Scott was 2-11. In 2022, it's a completely different story.
We've grown so much from last year, and we've grown so much even from the beginning of the year. You know, there were times that, you know, I thought we battled and we would get close. We just couldn't get over the hump, you know, and that's tough. And you have to learn how to win.
After a team meeting mid-season last year, the Tigers began to turn things around. They made it to the sub-state championship and carried that momentum into this season.
Knowing that every day in practice we started from the bottom, from day one, it's paid off for sure.
Fort Scott is learning how to win. They're currently 10-3, and this week they landed in the state rankings. The Tigers are 10th in 4A.
I don't think many of us really expected it, and then to see that it's awesome knowing that people are finally recognizing what we've done this season and where it's got us so far. People are going to want to beat us now, just like how we've wanted to beat other people.
It's taken a lot of hard work to get to where they are now.
Those tough times we had last year gave our girls a taste of what we needed to do this summer and how we needed to come together and how we need to build on that foundation coming into the season. I think that's what we've done thus far.
The Tigers have a young, small group, 2 seniors and only 13 girls. They choose to see it as a positive.
That's going to bode well not only for this year, but for years to come. And then those girls will understand what it takes to play on the varsity level.
But first, there's the rest of this season.
What we talked about at the end of practice the other day is how do we handle success? You know, now you're starting to get that, getting a little exposure. So we'll see how we respond the rest of the way. I think we have the right mindset. So we're going to have to raise our level of play and meet expectations.
Danny Terzer, KOAM Sports.
Fort Scott is scheduled to be back on the floor tomorrow night at Chanute. The Tigers are currently tied with Labette County for first place in the SEK with a 5-1 league record. Pittsburgh State football announced its 2022 recruiting class on Wednesday, but we also learned All-American linebacker P.J. Sarwinski will use the COVID year and return for one more season for the Gorillas. Sarwinski led the team with 84 tackles last season, including 12 tackles for loss and 3.5 sacks. He also had an interception and 2 pass breakups. The Galena High School product was first-team All-MIAA and an All-American. Sarwinski will finish his master's degree in May and had planned on last season being his final season, but here he is on his decision to return.
In the end, you know, I wouldn't say it was a difficult decision because, you know, what Pitt State stands for and the tradition that we bring, the fans that we bring into, you know, the jungle every Saturday. It'd be hard to say no, you know, one more time to all those people that have supported me and have believed in me, especially my family. And my coaches, you know, my coaches really persuaded me and pushed me that, you know, I can, there's so much more that I can do.
You can check out our full story with PJ and his decision to return to Pittsburgh State on the sports page at KOAMnewsnow.com. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
A recent study shows loneliness can increase the risk of older women dying of heartbreak. A team from the University of California, San Diego found a social isolation and loneliness are increasing factors for heart illnesses, especially in women. The study involved more than 50,000 participants, observed them for 4 years. When older females experienced the lack of interaction with others, their chances of cardiac issues increased from 13 to 27%. Previous research shows women experience more social isolation than men. Well, the pandemic is continuing to cause a massive blood supply shortage. Fox News correspondent Kevin Cork has more on the potential health emergencies the crisis is causing for hospitals and patients nationwide.
Every 2 seconds, someone in the U.S. needs blood.
The American Red Cross says a critical blood supply shortage is putting hospitals across the country in crisis mode.
We have, in some instances, less than a day's supply of blood on hand.
The nonprofit humanitarian organization is responsible for providing at least 40% of the nation's blood. But now, those levels are so low, officials say some hospitals are postponing medical procedures.
It is forcing doctors to make a very difficult decision about who receives a blood transfusion and who must wait until there are additional products available.
I've heard from a number of hospitals that they've had to delay surgeries because they didn't have enough blood on hand.
Healthcare professionals blame pandemic restrictions and closures for the rapid decline in blood drives. And data from the Red Cross is highlighting the issue, showing college students made up 25% of blood donors in 2019, with that number plummeting to just 10% in 2021.
There's no blood drives at schools because schools were locked down. There's not as many blood drives at work because there's no work going on at offices.
But for those who are still going out and donating, they say it's an easy process with incredible payoffs.
Stay here for an hour or two, and then afterwards you go home knowing that you could have potentially saved a life.
This is the worst blood shortage in more than a decade. In fact, officials say it'll take months for supplies to return to their normal levels. I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
Coming up, a look at the movies now available at those movie theaters and at home streaming. An out-of-this-world cast leads a big sci-fi adventure, and famous pranksters bring big-screen stunts. We preview those and more of this week's new releases with Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
A huge problem is heading our way.
When it comes to big movies made for the big screen, sci-fi flick Moonfall delivers one of epic proportions, courtesy of Roland Emmerich. Halle Berry, Patrick Wilson, and John Bradley stars a trio on a mission to save humanity when the moon is knocked off its orbit.
Welcome to Jackass!
Also in theaters, the Jackass crew returns with a film of new hijinks and stunts in Jackass Forever.
How many copies of this are out there?
On Hulu, find Pam and Tommy, about Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee's famously stolen and leaked sex tape.
What do we got here?
Netflix introduces Murderville, showcasing the improv skills of Will Arnett and guest stars without a script in a crime-solving series. Netflix is also currently streaming My Best Friend Anne Frank, told from the perspective of Hannah Gosler, about her real-life friendship with Anne Frank during the Holocaust, from Nazi-occupied Amsterdam to finding each other imprisoned in a concentration camp.
That Tuesday was something very special to witness.
Amazon Prime Video adds the 3-episode docuseries Fat Tuesdays, the era of hip-hop comedy, about the all-black comedy night at the Comedy Store in LA, which started in the 90s and launched the careers of comedy superstars.
Why are these people here?
I made some changes. Amazon Prime Video also has Rom-Com Book of Love, about an English writer and the Spanish translator who rewrote his failed book before a promotional tour. You've never been in love. And that film is just the start of a couple Valentine's Day movies streaming this February. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.